My mention I say from free England. First game we can to Jano a year. Game ebe koso or Turf Moor. Burnley and Chelsea boku. Before send na yebeko international break now pe team back wo England da. Omunya good results are na Chelsea boku no. No more share Liverpool, no more share Nottingham Forest, no more share Spurs. Apart from Sunderland, I almost share Chelsea no. Before the international break, na Chelsea nyasa results no. Say na ye free international break abano. Chelsea fans ne dodo na expect say Chelsea besa to aso. No metimenya 3 maximum points no. Any matches are hold one bebo. So playing against Burnley, Chelsea fans ne expect to win. Ken Burnley this season enye boku abeka se. Omomode no extraordinary. Obeka se omomode mbon eni suru bebre because out of 11 games no, Burnley for we need just 3 games. Ente yebo boku a o dey compare Chelsea a. Chelsea emodembo ewo suru esen Burnley boku no. Anasa wo check Chelsea mpokra or say good record against Burnley because omo matches omo bonanse ni nyina no eya Chelsea finding a way to get the best results against a team friend say Burnley. However, Burnley able ofie no emfa ho ni baby omo da. Emfa ho ni omo record a enkoye mfa ma Chelsea no. Ade ba kwa about Burnley this season amahwe omo nyina na say omo bo ofie e wo Turf Moor omo ma opponent a oba hobia ni feel uncomfortable. Omo try say the pressure beb too so se obehye Burnley mpokra wo Turf Moor obebre enti cheke kwan ya Burnley fa so share Sunderland Liverpool ko Turf Moor obi ahwe game ni Liverpool wini eye no kre by kwan ya Liverpool fa so bre yansa no munya sa 1-0 win against Burnley. Arsenal ko ho nansen eko wini ye Arsenal wini omo game se wo hwe bia Burnley for ma match ni mu ye dene e de ma Arsenal bobuko no enti Burnley for ne de oni omo ba obehye omo e wo Turf Moor Nemum obebre ansa na wetimi ahye Burnley team no. Scott Parker say o coach Burnley eye bobuko no. Ade e ba Scott Parker ho ne ye say onim se ball no ontimi mbiem ne Chelsea mbo. Enti every single team bi a Burnley nesia kan bia no Burnley en dominate opponent no. Ojai possession edema opponent because Scott Parker oye coach edema Burnley no or prioritizing defensive approach more than say obebo attacking football ne more. Enti se wa check Burnley team na omo ye very combative. Omo ye very physical, omo ye very aggressive, and omo ye team ba kwa time bia no, omo ye mobile, and omo deal with long balls. Enti se okosia Burnley a, ken Burnley ye bobuko ba kwa, obehye omo, ba obebre. Enti Chelsea for make sure say playing against Burnley, dominating the Chelsea never dominating game no. Because Burnley ball no omo boni nyina no, omo depend on omo overlapping eye fullbacks no. Overlapping fullbacks no eye Carl Walker, and a branch friend say Hartman. Sa 2 players no and be the overlap na dia momo. Now I try send the midfielders no be get you closer to the box. And be Leslie Wochuku and a branch friend say Florentino Luis. Sa players no be get you closer to the box. Now opportunity ne bomb beba. So the only thing na Enzo Maresca any Chelsea bobo ni here na say on no so mu kra ball ne che. Se woni Burnley sia na u kra ball ne cha. Burnley for no e bebre. No match I see leave spaces in between omo lines. Enti enfa ho se Burnley ebo defensive football no. Burnley ye bobo ko ba kwa ken. Omo concede a lot. And omo ye obi a defensively omo nye strong because se wo koshi omo na wo possess bebre. Na wo kura ball na wo betima tete Burnley bobo ko no. And Chelsea were materials. Chelsea were akadi on betimi dia tete Burnley bobo ko no because currently se wo check Chelsea team na. Look at the midfield display of Chelsea. Caicedo form a wapeke a this stability ben finfin ho. Enzo Fernandez say mostly coaching manu operate on the left side. Now a time no obey out of opposition block. Now create overloads no. Say Kukureya, Malo Gusto, Rhys James pick omo ready ma. Say ombe inverte, say ombe overlappe, ombe make sure say omo join attack, ombe to improve Chelsea setup no. Say Garnacho so pick in a ready. Let's not forget say Garnacho bo game we be a. Garnacho born 100 game. Ewo Premier League nim. Enti playing in 100 game, Garnacho be try say obetimenya go and also be assist. Nansen why very productive at the Chelsea o create Chelsea bobuko no. So check 2 teams na ken. You know, I believe Chelsea based on players ne form no playing against Turf Moor Burnley ebema no mema ye den dia ma Chelsea there but I believe with Chelsea setup no any individual brilliance of Chelsea emfa hu se kopa ma mokrensi akan no recently hu se kopa mensi akan kra na Chelsea finding a way to win on games no so make te po obi obewini a meko e dia ma Chelsea say against Burnley there Chelsea and a favorite e was a game we mu Liverpool et na fie e bo Nottingham Forest after set Liverpool team no say Aston Villa. ɔmo hyɛ Real Madrid boboko no na nipa dodoɔ na anim sɛ Liverpool team na hyɛ aseɛ sɛ ɔmo peke ana Manchester City chi ɔmo ana ɔmo te ɔmo megye tum sɛ nansa nneɛma nkɔ yie ɛmfa ma Liverpool team no so playing against Nottingham Forest ofie no deɛ who expect Liverpool team to bet mania the 3 maximum points because Nottingham Forest na Liverpool for new mabisi akan in Pokrano. Nottingham Forest this season on modern bono any suru bebre. Until ye season ye nyandru baby na a single team use 3 different managers a trouble bokono how almost struggle. And so we Liverpool now with nephew now born Nottingham Forest only any excuse than to find a way to get the 3 maximum points. But dear about Nottingham Forest bobokoni say last 2 games lose ye. Enti enfa won senioma the entire season nyoma nkoye enfa ma Nottingham Forest no last 2 games make sure say draw against Manchester United and make sure so win against Leeds United so gradually Sean Dyche so be fa team friend say Nottingham Forest no or try so bet may improve Nottingham Forest boboko no na bibia koye edi amomo and the papa friend say Nuno Espirito Santo abra no coach Nottingham Forest season ase no the style of play ni say yen defend ni embo counter football. Anna Postecoglou so be fame ne de ne say yem build it from the back yem bo abo a fani em fan create your chances by say nyoma asesa with Nottingham Forest under Sean Dyche do omo ye ne say time bia no a direct football and omo pattern of play no edina omo fullbacks ne so omo fullbacks no Williams and a branch friend Nicolo enti o check everything session Dyche be fa Nottingham Forest boboku a last 2 games ye hu improvement na ball no omo boni nyina no omo sha ase set time bia na wo so omo fullbacks no Nicolo and Williams ebe hu game ne so the next player will be now game no so a pattern of play be gina ne so no omo number 6 Elliot Anderson and obi or share Nottingham Forest team this season watch the English national team no Elliot Anderson performance any form no was so e kan hu bi na teams akese ne sha ase say omo chase this guy. So what I keep papa friend Thomas Tuchel. Onumpokra England national team head coach Hwensempa o kafa abrantie we hu. Enti abrantie ne wo form. And say Nottingham Forest last 2 games majority of game na boni nyina no Elliot Anderson in the midfield added that stability added that show ne the abati my friend Nottingham Forest bobuko no. Now we use no rings no Indoyi and Dominguez. Enti the pattern of play under Sean Dyche currently Nottingham Forest no omu fullback Elliot Anderson and omu 2 wingers no so ade Liverpool be here game nim ne say Mohamed Salah eni ne redim onyam peke ne form Cody Gakpo opeja kakra na drop it by playing against Nottingham Forest me expect say slot ebema Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah etina Abrante Friends Williams and Nicolo so because sa 2 players omo fullback edema Nottingham Forest no omo involve omo pattern of play and it's all the pressure to have 2 fullbacks now and neutralizing Nottingham Forest for eboboku no and so what a key game we ankasa and most likely say Soboslan about cover the right side of defense and the team friends Liverpool Conor Bradley out of this game Jeremy Frimpong so nya fit and the only way on bet menya a right back no Soboslan and Elliot Anderson who game this one a boy other midfielders need to me come in. On one say as I showed the back 4, Edema team friend say Nottingham Forest. So me expect to say Curtis Jones, Abrante friend say Mark Alistair. In Finfi one never dominating Finfi no ahead of Elliot Anderson. No man eliminating Elliot Anderson out of this game. Say Elliot Anderson and Huswa at the pressure at to the centre back of Nottingham Forest. So Morilu and Abrante friend say Milinkovic. Now for the watch I say will create your chances no. Na Soboslan and Robertson. I make sure say Dominguez and Indoyi and who game no so. So Liverpool for what's almost finding a way to stop this new Nottingham Forest. Almost form of match I say almost picking no. So we checking Nottingham Forest and Liverpool individual brilliance in Liverpool for was Rubery. As Nottingham Forest and for say Liverpool for a struggle recently no. Me te pull Liverpool for say ombe win this game we. St James Park, Newcastle, any team my friend say Manchester City and ebesi akan. Obi oye Manchester City fan bi anim say. Nansen venue ba ko omo brepa no St James Park Newcastle fee. Enti from 2022 ebesi ne. The last time I who say team my friend say Manchester City akọ St James Park from 2022 besi ne no. O matimi akọ win no. O makọ win once from 2022 ever. Abro mo kwa 3-2 enu mpokura na game ni apon awie ana Oscar Bob 90 plus added minute ota enya winning goal no edema Manchester City so recently venue ba kwa Manchester City kwa omo brepa no the St James Park anene omo se ko ho by Ken this season ankasa no edi how team Newcastle pressure wo mo so Nyoma enfama Newcastle bobuku no. Out of 11 games omabo so far no, ome winning just 3. That's not the Newcastle ayenimomo. Because the last 2 seasons, team bakwa, what peja the modern boom, or team qualify ko UEFA Champions League na Newcastle can be. By your season as Nyoma nkoyi. Adia bakwa na Newcastle for a dance no me unique. How ye share game nasiano. The first 10 minutes intensity mo pressing. Making sure say press so high. Won't feel comfortable on the ball. By this time around, sa intensity any hobby. That aggression. Man to man pressing no ayira. And to say what checking Newcastle recently, many mono say press here. Have you Benz ne pressing no atiaba form. Nick Voltamalda, Mokofa ne buy no, on your beer or to say a Isak move to my presses are. So, intensity and Newcastle for the press at the first 10 minutes on my opponent if you uncomfortable no, ye who sadian with Newcastle Bobukuni. Say Newcastle force our switch it, no must it deeper. Sa almost 4-5-1 no, say still an opponent if I knew ways on best exploit our spaces no, I created chances, Eddie Boa Twatname, Eddie Newcastle Bobukuno. Na Newcastle the entire setup, a your moment for this me and the Chromo. Se Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali mo ehu game ne so a ana Newcastle team ne function this time around ye share season as no omo midfielders miensa no ent me pick omo rhythm into the entire season Newcastle for a struggle kakra playing against Manchester City a very different game altogether. Pep Guardiola asesa ne nsa no ankofo adwen ba so. Pep Guardiola ye nim no e Barcelona ye nim no wo Bayern ye ba Manchester City ni early days. Ade atem bia Pep Guardiola penny ye say in fin ho no e wo so nenya control because our players are omadwimu do omo technical ability was ro enti Pep Guardiola ba Manchester City no say obo De Bruyne obo Bernardo Silva no obo Rodrigo Cascanta e players nyensa be control fin di amount by this time around Neoma Sesa e Nico Gonzalez Tiani Reinders and Ryan Cherki sa players no omo nya midfielders a obetima kasa the entire 90 minutes on the be dominating fin di amount enti Pep Guardiola is smart to the extent say so only that type of midfielders ni bi wo hodia ene ma mensesa mensa no enti ken say obi a wa check Pep Guardiola ball no obo ni nyina no o use wide side dynamics e wo football mu kire say anytime bi on be attack bia no the wide players no ye mo that freedom to move around enti the reason why this season obi abo Jeremy Doku abaso no ye say the new style of play of Pep Guardiola is you Jeremy Doku or you see the wide side dynamics into Wama Jeremy Doku, that freedom, that liberty to move around. And anytime you Manchester City be initiate attack, you know, actually the position of Haaland ever drop deep. Now our opponent now focusing on Haaland. Now creating space at the Jeremy Doku because of the 1v1 ability, 2v1 ability. So me nipa me and sample krana Jeremy Doku betima bow. Now a release pressure on Haaland. No etimia bangi in the goals. And to Pep Guardiola assistant and Sano. You see the wide side dynamics are bringing the best out of Manchester City bobukuno. Again bakwa metipo Manchester City so betime win this game we against Newcastle. Newcastle from Nisro. Arsenal and Spurs. North London derby. From 1921 ebesine between Arsenal and Spurs, Omabo 197 games. Arsenal win 84. Spurs win 61 and 52 about draw. Recently, two clubs in Pokra Asia, a year Taiko Yedima Arsenal. We in Nasa Ton China without statistics, way a eye test, Obia Hebi. Currently, Arsenal near Spurs near Wine was simple, way any debatable, a Arsenal Bobukuno. Say Arsenal see a kind of Spurs see a kaya. Arsenal more do. Essence Spurs bobuku no enti nipa dodo na na etipo Arsenal so me favorite because of omo good record against Spurs omo recent performance and the current form omo was say editor team e friend Spurs but there back about Spurs this season ye second this season no the only side e wo Premier League on lose match away e Spurs nkwan the only team on lose match away out of the 5 games away no wetimi win 4 a draw 1 oko Etihad e ko share Manchester City. And it's Spurs ba we bia ni hu by ken no prayer ba ko pe se metina se ne na me analyze Spurs any team a friend say Arsenal every single department on the field bia Arsenal was so saying Spurs so we check the defensive line say Timber Calafiori mo e chiro ho no Saliba mo e chiro no omo ye capable so metima stop any team attack e wo omo final third o and it's Spurs anka say nim ho no so nye sharp omani mo no omo ntimi nkleke yen hye den nya player ba kwa hye ase say or didn't who see why all banging in the goals at the Ama Spurs. And the Arsenal you capable so bet my contain to my friends Spurs or my attack, you know. In the midfield play, Papi Abrante friends Papi sa I fit Awaba. Paulinho ewo. And so what take our players we now they compare Arsenal midfielder. Arsenal midfield near more balanced than Spurs, you know, because Arsenal bebo Merino or bebo Declan Rice. No about Abrante friends say ebere easy. So 3 players no one feed them Arsenal team no. Betima protect your back line. Ability to control games was through. Ability to create was through. Because Benya Abrante friends says Zubimendia obey the controller, the deep lying playmaker. Benya Abrante friends say Bereche is operating as the number 10, giving that creative work at the Ama Arsenal. Benya Declan Rice, box to box. And between these two teams, you know, the midfield air balance air Arsenal. Then Eba Arsenal for final third. And for say Yokares and your fit. Arsenal be Yusu Merino as the first number 9. Anytime be a meka Merino who has Biano, Missy Merino or your midfielder by a soul of a striker. And the end found so your midfielder, or the next question number 9, why Obetimama goes no, Trossard on the left side, Bukayo Saka on the right side. And everything on the field of play, Arsenal air go in favor of Arsenal. Kudus etimia ye training or no ano team war Spurs team no whooswa. Ebua Spurs bobuko no, but check 2 teams in na performance. Metipo Arsenal so me favorites. Uko Spain, Barcelona air Bilbao. Rightly, as you said, after 909 days, Barcelona, yes, be who ewo Spotify company, and Barcelona returning at their favorite grounds. No, the first thing I was expecting, yes, say Barca defeat fan chassis was Spotify company. So every single Barcelona fan expect a win against Bilbao because all say Bobo, our Spotify company, untimin draw, untimin lose. So be expecting win for Barcelona. The Atoswo, Barca person mu chase Real Madrid. Madrid were 31 points. Barcelona were 28 points. Points difference between these two sides are 3 points. And it's always to match Real Madrid. And what's so winning games, no? So apart from some returning to Spotify company, almost say Chelsea Real Madrid. So Barca aiming nani see benya 3 points, no. By Ken, Bilbao yebo bokwa ontimi Barcelona or Barcelona few. And found when baby Barcelona be see kind. Baby on betche Bilbao be and say Barca ebo fear or dominate. The last time at Bilbao, Ekwase Barcelona ufie no, 2001. 24 good years in ye. Bilbao entimi nkwase Barcelona ufie. Enti se yebo league. Na 21 years ni untimi shemu mifia. Echo say me wo home dominance, home supremacy ahead of Bilbao team no. Enti Barca ebo ufie onsro Bilbao team no. Ana coach of the Bilbao oba no, Ernesto Valverde. Or a former coach of Barcelona or be performing Juma de Barcelona. By free Barcelona, Okosia Barcelona be on team Barcelona. And based on records and everything, a favor Barcelona bubuko. But dear back about Barcelona, ni say Bilbao team under Ernesto Valverde, omu ye defensive oriented side. Papa friend say Ernesto Valverde Bilbao no asese no. Or pesa defensive solidity no. And tuni ni isi akanya. Onfa hone bo abebo. By time bia no be try say obe defending in a natural 4-4-2, flat 4-4-2. Now I force you say the ball ne be for wings. Now when you just one attack, channel of attack. And the kwanya Bilbao for fasu esi omakai. Ken, Barcelona injury situation no was through. Players ni be brave no more returning from injury. So me expected Barcelona team a collective play ne be was through. Me nkwacha Barcelona team abeka said the teamwork ne be ye adwuma. Barca be winning game we Ken. E be ye individualism. And a Barca de be winning game we. Individualism in football the processor. Individual players no ebe bringing almost skill set on board. And the Barca players no Rafinha no free injury ba. Lami Yama onyam peke ne redim ne pa. Lewandowski nyam peke sa. Daniel Mumu nyam peke. Enti sa teamwork ni unya.
Okay.
But dia Barcelona benya ahead of Bilbao no individualism. Lami Yama benya ni day. The last time you Lami Yama the first game our company Abrana Osia kan no 15 years 290 days. Javi and a man born the first game work. Spotify company or say return it. Lami Yama person chess or say return or hodia also train a bobre. Lewandowski air tries or better than a bobre. Rafinha ba or better tries or better pekine redim ne kakra. Barcelona enya Pedri, onya Frankie Dion. So in the midfield play, oba benya Marc Casado, oba benya Femi Lopez, oba benya Dani Olmo. Sa 3 players winning to mean now total dominance, total control of infio. But who expected say Dani Olmo individually? Obetima Sanyo Madiamao. Femi Lopez as a shadow player. Who baby obe fraba no aba be shego ndi amount. And it's a Barca be winning game we are. Enkoye teamwork, enkoye collective play. Bebe individualism. Barca players ni enyo omude. One Garcia ba press about Barcelona so o expect so benya ni day no save Barcelona kunde benya ni day bow the benya ni day enti individualism no ana wo Barcelona e ma Barcelona advantage of over Bilbao meko win for Barcelona ahead of Bilbao. Real Madrid Elche enye kasa Madrid be win game we by the only player me bon paye say obenya ni day eye Arnold. Arnold baye no onya ne rhythm on picking a form and injuries as I be slowing it down. I think I all say back from injury or person cementing the position on the right side. And me hope you say from a nyame aduma china game ne kono and not beat my perform ye the Real Madrid because they say Madrid set up no Alvaro Carreras on the left side where we okay. I cut the right side. Na Fedi go Alvaro the one turn. Say obabo the right wing obabo the midfield. So the only thing I me expect to give me say Arnold ebenya ni day a win for Real Madrid.
No, Kwame de la Ediano no, Mamen Quelderson, what I meant to so infantry on Biggie, and so Ebebam in Chakra. Edison.
Ken, Yamishaw, Yenya Tony Montana, Nemame, and then a birthday.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, Tony. Yama make glad this a free year. In fact, I put Toja.
Tony Montana.
Yeah, Yenya Tony Montana. Inti, yeah, we share my happy birthday. Na Gladys so eximo happy birthday. Na Ken Mamen Twaso and Fanfi Spain. Na ye monko moka. It's a special day at my Barcelona because they spend a lot days power Montjuic 27 months Montjuic and ye easy trying to get back to their own stadium. 27 months now Barcelona spend on Montjuic, you know, Ken. About 57 games. Win 43. Goals there, Bebre. 155 goals. Montjuic was a good adventure. And now, a homecoming, Camp Nou. Now, and the homecoming, no, the man dance on the say. Dear Otse Barcelona Boboku one gampa and ne sortiasia and ne any birthday. It makes the game very, very interesting. Say, spending 909 days away from your home grounds. Now, war bano. You are coming on the day the Otse Barcelona Boboku one gampano and ne any birthday. On the 22nd of November 1877, I was Switzerland. Odi 22 years. And yes, man, no say, saying Enfa Barcelona, or we are on free Barcelona, Mra Africa, and be sugar factory, or Beju Barcelona, Krumwa, or Kawa, or Tibo Bukun. Ken, say, Udi numbers and which year? And then Barcelona say, "Ome invite Juan Gampa, ne grandson say Omra program now say Javier Gampa, any Daniel Gampa no more asye send ye be Barcelona for so kai almost say and ne a special day at the moment and ne so and ye be stadium no so ano ye wie de but and then ye share games na say ewo. Intiana Ken, let me talk about numbers kakra ni ura game no 22nd November so 11th into 22/11. Ken is this so more ana? The 11th month, the day is 22. 11 mienu is 22. And says okay. And then so 909 days. Next say 9 so era mi wom. Barcelona de Oshana Lewandowski. And then the 11th month, you know, it is also the return of Rafinha, who wears the number 11 jersey. It is so more now. Not just possibly live any Rafinha and then because the number 22 then can a crucial power, but Mark Bernal, means a coach in the man boni bidia because on also no and no bon game in be pre. It makes the game interesting. Now, the most important thing, your hands a flick, and now dressing room you would want to do is that you have to control the players' emotions before you even talk about tactics. Because players need to bring more ball camp no. Because emotionally, players need stable. Tactics, o catch almost simple pass, not while overdo it. It's emotionally, you talk to the players, calm them down. Camp no need so that Enko gets into some of the players. Because they control the game and they calm at the Barcelona game and the Omobi Frankie de Jong. So we are going to see Marc Casado as a number 6. You see, because of Frankie de Jong, Pedri, omoye out in it. He say Pedri cried or call out. No, ma Frankie de Jong ebo 8 because he control ho. And then it says Danny Omo would have to play more of a number 8. Na uncontrolled game in Fama Barca because Casado enya sa type no. Na nanse me unse Casado o suene me bebre me pamucho eya munya botre because total football number 6 ne bon na form. You can be professional. Coach or sister say number 6 where you man yes tackle, get the ball, release. Nemom or person who control the game so it takes months. And yeah, Woba, you have to understand because number 6, what you baller, when to pass. I told you, what to me, Gina ball, no, so how we invite pressure because they are part of your game. When see Frankie de Jong, or to me, ball, or be Gina ball, no, so Sanan and Nino, or person invite pressure. Now, he takes the decision. No, a pass the ball, no, not a creative space. I told you, Bisuswa. Who position your key? Who pass the ball now? Where do I position myself as a number 6? These are things. Frankie de Jong, ye, Macasado, Afeina Ocean, because the style, yes, our style on one. It's a better I to say, oh, Nicolas Gonzalez and Nico Gonzalez or Manchester City. This season, he's playing very well, but last season, Obre Paonumpa. No about tiki taka nibi wa Barcelona, wako Porto, oba Manchester City. He had to sit down, learn. On one case say, I told him you call Rodri. No bisa Rodri. Minya de born ba. It is our position. No born na from sa. Inte told the bia bon say, coach no told the bia no frustrated kakra because Casado on sada nya sa style no. Inte say calmness no the odeba no so omobia nature say midfield were issues kakra beba ho in terms of control. E hona me kan dey so dia say last season one of the strengths for Barcelona was their pressing, winning balls at the opposition third. This season team are pressing pa e La Liga no e Real Madrid they tosubu Atletico Bilbao. Barcelona had the 4th team. So Barcelona moved from 1st to 4th. But Bilbao na ba beto so 2nd. Inti Bilbao ye team wa. Na say omo presi bebre. It's not just say Barcelona 4-year build up from the Barca. And was a build up no ye a game and yes sir, one pass you are gone. Nyamnya done for Bilbao. Nico Williams Eba. Ohaini Sanchez last season it was fantastic. Boy na among fun time money din. Here Atletico Bilbao team na mota Nico Williams and Iñaki Williams. But boys are maybe Phillips or more ball pa. Ohaini Sanchez Grisetta number 9. The ball no pa but ball no some wingers for no normally omunya space sa Ohaini Sanchez and Grisetta no who game no so someone to Sanchez Matissa waba from injury. Minimum so coach the best starting there. Nico so swaba from the injury. Let's just say pressing game never cost to be. I am looking at how Barcelona are going to get out from the press of Team FN Bilbao for no. Because once they are able to do that, any more day, say Lewandowski abano sharpness ne when you want but I don't have doubt in that because this time around any more I'm expecting say goal scoring baba pressing game nebe cross kakra unlike previous game but how to get out I don't know misro it's a possibly ebiana coach abo Eric Garcia because teams are pressing bebre no what had the runner row e change the move bebre one run wakoche pass So possibly be Garcia more possibly. Ebia Garcia Kubasi and a bit Timiabo. Advantage Barcelona. But one of those tricky games, Barca needs to be very careful. I have seen a deliberate attempt from Manchester United to defend Benjamin Sesko. Now, me who say, from board of directors, and say, say investment way die, send your man for so mano, EDC Ramos Hoyland no, omon pere masade nisi. Club bay na wo Europa only data analyst mon kanche me. And so Manchester United die omo kofa this guy Mike Sansoni. Mo share Formula 1, Mercedes Benz Formula 1 no. On a omo data analyst sa Sansoni the television is we. Wait, why here Jimo obe 11 years in here. Don't forget to say Manchester United owner Ineos Sir Jim Ratcliffe Okuta 1/3 shares in this F1 and Wakofa Sansoni Abasombe director of, in fact, data analyst. Ken Pacho Mitiemio. Minim and also nim and listen your BA Susunim say, yeah, top player wa brochira. Coach, ebe catch sporting directors to say, position number 10, number 9, yeah, shorty. Then the sporting directors will also talk to the technical director if Sebi Woha. Then they send a scouting team. Scout the list bar. They will analyze. Now be how much you su alongside the coach. Then the data analyst will also go into details. Sanity. Manchester say they needed to take a decision on Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyökeres. As a sad time, you know, Victor Gyökeres at disadvantage, I don't want to say. No one in 27 as compared to Benjamin Sesko, who was 22 years. Tieni. Gyökeres, no one goals, bebre 97 goals in 102 games. Gyökeres goals, no, not and shut down no so biasa in terms of goals, you go for Victor Gyökeres. Now, Gyökeres problem is say. Now, on Timi she goes against big clubs, except for Manchester City. Then, Enumpo, sa game the Manchester City number 5. I don't know Taki Gyökeres. There is some pussy sa kwadano. It's disadvantage. I know what Gyökeres no. But clearly, in Penyifono more Manchester United, no, they preferred Benjamin Sesko because he was young, because our height. And almost say, or make you off the ball runs. Don't forget, let me give you a context. Amorim, not the preferred player, Oli Watkins. Because Ole had a premiership experience. No, only premier, because coach not a premiership players. And yes, I feel now bad adapted. But Aston Villa for over 70 million. And the man you say for a 29-year-old, they will not pay. I have to say, Antoine Semenyo and Brian Mbuim with DAB. Coach, no pay Semenyo. Amorim wanted Semenyo. But Semenyo Manchester United, they could be saying, no. Bomb of 4 bomb 70. And I'm saying, that's not make sense. About goals, he said, yeah. Mbuimo scores a lot of goals. It's a sad decision in Abia. And a call in favor of Benjamin Sesko. Now watch this. Sesko Baya. All Shade Huso. As they say in Buemo and Kunya na Airborne, the first interview from Manchester United management came from Jason Walcott, 1st of November. Watch this. Benjamin Sesko is going to be an amazing player. It is difficult to be a number 9 at Manchester United. And I know sometimes that Matis Cunha and Brian Mbuemo are getting a lot of credit. But the runs that Benji, referring to Benjamin Sesko, is making is also helping Matis Cunha and Brian Mbuemo as well. Oh, the technical director, Smoker. Say, Manchester United who born number 9 a wo brepa ono akoto player because ono na die nim koto yo nti I was so be defend there then ono so Manchester number 9 in that form na we hu Salmon for ball Matis Cunha baso mo ball Brian Mbeumo abaso but emamure mfi say eye Cunha sorry eye Benjamin Sesko ejuma oye no the runs off the ball runs no bia oye no na eboa wo mo ohun asama ono be kai enye me won wan say enne wa be your story I was so kase Manchester for no so we okay because of the ball runs say mpanyimfo no the off the ball runs and e judge number 9 hey and necessary and Ramos Hoylund the man ya fair man no kra o mon kan kire mpanyimfo no say a bedroom maybe season say the enti obi aye di ni say ya monko baby ah say you book caref you do match wa people will begin to analyze Ramos Hoylund and Benjamin Sesko if he continues like this. Obien wa de off the ball runs ebe analyze number 9. Say off the ball runs me na me running fake Emma Cunha mo kwese number 9. Say me na me pin ball no to na oma pima yenye sa number 9. Because I see said a deliberate attempt to protect Benjamin Sesko, no problem. But the protection no was set our park and so because you see no a goals and you be checking. Liverpool versus Nottingham Forest. Last season, Liverpool for a team stopping Nottingham Forest for a while. Last season. Team who send you see Liverpool na Nottingham. Now a very unfortunate to say Nottingham atiaba from Ababe drew this level to the extent say Nottingham team 11 games almost 10 goals until they can't even average 1 goal per game. Now Liverpool so they are not in the right state because over 6 premiership games. There are last 6 premiership games. Now ulusu 5 a concern. Until Liverpool needs to come back. How are they going to do that? Share Liverpool and the lineup no. Me curious to know. Me person me share dey bi kakra. Say number 2 no. Why nebebo because minim say in the absence of Jeremy Frimpong and Conor Bradley. Say showbiz like Oboha, a flowing vets na a button. But vets also young available. T. Na debiano mi dia here Conor Bradley ni won ken. Boy no oswa. Na minim se amount for attention ni ho oni born ni bo papa but for injuries. Say Conor Bradley be stay fit for 6 months. Amount for being qualities are quite bueno. Kono. But every single time we pra waba. Unim say last season alone on me see games makuma 19. Some of the previous seasons na kasama 2 seasons in ye small boy Conor Bradley 22-year-old Bradley. What makes the games makuma 50 can. I mean how are you going to do it? 50 games in the last 2 seasons. Wasanswe pra oko 2 weeks ago. Inti sankanye injury anka akwara no oboboni yo but I feel very bad for the coach because say injuries nti was so taking decisions bi o ha it might affect the team. The nti make us say ebia na Curtis Jones bi na akobo ho. And don't forget send Liverpool for effort so e press 4-2-4 no. Salah is always drifted inside in their press. Into their opponents left back or Bobo ni pa the nine carbon ni bebre into TMA Nottingham left back Nico Williams or non funny for Liverpool. I'm right what Nicolas Dominguez into so who game no swa because na carbon ni bebre ne some who game ni swa they are coming up against a mid-shift right back. This is where my concern is. It is a coach in Ibenya because any so from midfield to attack the other boy Dominic Szoboszlai. It won't mean Kase. Me short to a right one to Obia. Or be Baba Boni ye dear mammy me in for number 10 what I question number 2. It's the only problem Liverpool have will be their right area ho. Because Konate nan say only sa strength no a say right back in ya or betimi cover sa space in sa. That is the only disadvantage Liverpool ewo sa area. But apart from that, I think say Liverpool should take advantage of this win. Of this game there. Misusu say and I go again, I would want to go advantage Liverpool. Na mimbo bon name table say time no call. Share Newcastle any city at the paper so a big game. Miji tumpa. Now when him say the last 35 games between City and Liverpool. Sorry, City and Newcastle. Newcastle winning back up Ken. Last 35. The Rafa Benitez in 2019. Okay, maybe this might confuse you. Eddie Howe, who is the coach of Newcastle? Eddie Howe was a coach. Winning against Man City. Oh, Premiership anymore. Inti some of the games ni wa ayana a strange part say City ni Crystal Palace ba won the best ones or ma be City. But City is so Newcastle ba City are some crowd one na game na a draw. Recent times me observation kakra say ene Bernardo Silva is very important. Pep Guardiola St. James Biano, he prefers players the team kuta ball because time Biano, St. James wano, sa supporters ni ye de bebre. Home supporters na atmosphere na evrawa wintimi mo. So normally he prefers players that holds onto the ball, pass the ball around, turn their supporters against them. It's about say Bernardo Silva, ukuta ball ni bebre no chano. No ada form kakra. They just waste the time and pass the ball around. No win your results no muko. Inti a gamer Newcastle for some may be they need to turn sa bad record around because I embarrassing say Newcastle like a bomudi Newcastle you cannot beat Manchester City even at their worst stage last season. Sa breakaway abeha City papa and yes sa momentum City peki no say no near to us one committee me catch us City be show 2-3 by international breaking into a game near very difficult. Inti double chance City. Ebiane Burnley and Chelsea. Dear, Mammy Castle Cho. Ken Burnley for one, they be a mechanic about them. Premiership na omo possessable omnare. Team possessable Burnley. Team Empress Burnley. Team Tum Yamba Bonisim Burnley. Inti their team who check us out statistics their team that frustrates you. Omo body be bromba be guechire. Na omo frustrate you. Into be guechire they be teams the ball ne tata omo. And let me give you one example. Who be team or commit penalties by Burnley for because time biano they are always at their back. Against Manchester United, how they stretched them. Last minute, Manchester United got rescued by Bruno Fernandes penalty. Against Liverpool, against Arsenal, Arsenal scored early. And now, almost stop you. In this game, say Chelsea ever set so well. Chelsea needs first 35 minutes. Chelsea be here go. And yes, sir, if you allow them to grow in confidence, as some way see. Arsenal and Tottenham, dear Ken.
Okay, yeah, so.
Tottenham for our record only a good
Spurs.
But Arsenal.
I'm very sure Kudus with my been there.
Kudus now then I'm coaching him man number 10. Me person me that me share Thomas Frank and Kudus maybe some you know. Is it that Kudus in can't the coach in the number 10 obey me abo. And now so say Thomas Frank and Enji Kudus in the because Ken. Adentina Ken Moyan Central for Ghana for nyina di. Na Tottenham team bomb matasa. Asa number 10 na Kudus na wings so. Aya na munka bibi nchira coach na.
Yes, some more numbers na we.
Na Kudus coach na ho I mean, embarrassing. Matasa ya ne boy flexibility be any motimi but Tottenham 10. Na Kudus. Na Kudus coach na ho ntimi jana.
This one was one group.
It's na make say I don't get it.
Yes, you me say. My big imra na you Chelsea friend. You me had more chance game no. North London derby Arsenal and his Spurs. You say Nkofo Pedro Arsenal. Draw. Biggie.
Ken.
Yenim komo kakre.
Ken my main shot from the Arsenal game. Osha Arsenal former Mukita. And the ball Arsenal the ball. Mejitum said this season in the English Premier League. So who put team now away form was ropa. In fact, the best performing away team has been Tottenham. No doubt about it. But when it comes to the London derbies this time around, for some seasons now, Arsenal has been the best. Seba London derbies are. Most of the clubs are only more London ninja. Arsenal making sure so be pick the maximum points from these clubs. No ake boom, no the Agina baby obijina. No so they are building who on the league log. Tottenham, any Arsenal, Baba Bishia. Problem back where Arsenal bobo a lot of people are looking out for. How our Arsenal defense in the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal beat me a copy. But can say Arsenal for the past 2 or 3 seasons. Problem are not Arsenal wapa, especially last 2 seasons. Abra William Saliba, prior Arsenal and the Premier League, even when no more fighting for the Premier League title and no more very close, was because quality and equal replacement. Our best slot in our central defense, the Ama Arsenal, no more team compete. It's a weird thing. Edema Arsenal bobo kono. But this season, you look at the kind of quality in abundance. Arsenal bobo koni kita. Yaka squad defa. Upe team o Premier League nimu. Our squad def pa. I am going to go for Arsenal bobo kono. Eti mi hu. Se obi pra bako. Ebe timi the Arsenal team na conform. And as bema Arsenal team na fall short. In the absence of Gabriel Magalhaes, Arsenal ewo Christian Mosquera. Watch with any little opportunity he has gotten. So with so much quality obey me stepping in. Now our body amas na bobo kono. Aside him, there is Piero Henkapi. No to watch say obaye little opportunity awanya. No to proving home. When Arsenal played in the EFL Cup against Brighton, to me, he was my best player. Game on born on the day, how he controlled the defense for the Arsenal team clearly. Actually, Obia wire ready. Say Oba Timunwa Baba Beya Juma. It's the problems are not facing Arsenal. And Yema Arsenal in the previous seasons, this time around, those problems are fixed. And the Gabriel Magalhaes injury and shed on your problem. Tottenham no Baba Beshi Arsenal and so Ken. In their striking department, more problem. Solanke Ntimi Mobi. Column 1 Ntimi Mobi. Column 1 in Podia, if he's available, he's played around 191 minutes and the Yama Tottenham Bobo Kono with just one shot. It's clearly Untibin kind of fan kahon. Richarlison yedi obeti media Bobo Kono, that is true. But he's not getting the needed support, especially in big games. Our 4 goals this season, and you're bad. But the kind of support are the players from the flanks. Brent Johnson, Kudus Mohamed, Edebe Manono, Eba. But in big games, you don't see these players. The last time a big game was against Chelsea. Kudus Mohamed was off color. And we are dinged him Kudus Mohamed. And again, another big game against Arsenal. Kudus Mohamed may not sure say 100% enough to face the Arsenal team because of free injury and eba. It will be to me a big game be the amount. But one to me more the kind of performance I ever expected from Kudus Mohamed. Because once I will free injury, there's been a bit of a setback. And so on the performance anymore. And was Tottenham making sure some will be defended the lines very well. Record back Arsenal kita this season. Second. 13 matches Arsenal in all competitions. I watch it first. Arsenal kita 100% record. This season. Only Arsenal Libo game. Not only first goaler. Arsenal goes on to win the game. The only time maybe Arsenal will draw. And Arsenal will lose. I say opponent and Asha first. But so what's say? Now Arsenal first goaler. 13 matches in all competitions. Nina Arsenal ekita 100% record our winning. It's the defensemen of Tottenham. Ewe duma kesiye paye in this game. The kind of quality Arsenal bobo koni kitano, especially from their midfield, makes them dominant in almost every game or move any opposition biya. Last time Arsenal lose game was in August, and we lose it to a Liverpool bobo kono. Since then, Arsenal about 14 matches in our competitions, while winning 12 and we draw just 2. And looking at the position of Arsenal, and the kind of mindset set this season there, as I saw with me pushing on the English Premier League title, no. And was say Arsenal call all out, no making sure to beat me after the 3 maximum points in this game. It wouldn't be easy, yes, but no 2 ways about it. I am very confident to say. Mikel Arteta and Mrantia no. Ebe for the 3 maximum points. Nyankopon ya adoma e chena. The absence of Victor Gyökeres any problem. So watch a player. I don't know anytime I ever friend no. say omroba be ginem as a makeshift number 9 the master bobuku now pen numbers the more now clearly me feel say Arsenal ever picking the 3 maximum points in this game. Ken Newcastle bobuku no and Manchester City. Newcastle performance this season and yet there be. If you are comparing Newcastle last season to Newcastle this season, there is a vast difference. Or Newcastle bobuku now more than 14th e league log and so. The last 5 matches in the Premier League were losing Makoma Komiansa. And a Newcastle bobuku na Lucy. And clearly the kind of performance almost they made this time around. And the performance a bit more GDA and so one performance anymore. Manchester City on the other hand, at the start of the season, that performance they up and down. But so in Pep Guardiola, we young best show the more be on any competitive league in because say your league, na Pep Guardiola is a good runner, a boosting the confidence on any players in England. It gets to a point. On me to me, I should be 10-15 matches they are so any opponent on mobile should be found. And Pep Guardiola and Manchester City, the last 6 matches they have played in the English Premier League, consecutively, on me winning Mako 5. It's the kind of confidence omodi ba be such a game mu no e put you up there. So we Liverpool in your last Premier League game. Now Liverpool share 3-0 me sure say be more extra GDA bi now they akwa such a game mu. Again, the Newcastle team deficiencies kakra wo team ni mu. Dan Ben out. One of their best defenders since on your opportunity to run Newcastle bobo no. But this time he's not available. It is all Lucy Dambena. Clearly, Omo Abenyo a botsman. And Malik Thiaw. Malik Thiaw, since he came to the Premier League, me have so much confidence in his performance. Until me, mama, that grade A performance, I may expect a free central defender. I will see a kind of Newcastle. It is stopping the life wire for the Manchester City team. Ellen Bot Haaland. Eba Baba, a problem at the Newcastle Bobo. This season, games are Haaland bar on to me no. Manchester City suffer in those games. C'est City bo game. Na Haaland and Timmy and Shego almost suffer. It in Cardia Babo Newcastle Bobo code pa. And so mo be kish us on Meso Ellen Bot Haaland mu. Na on Timmy nya go. Said ya City Bobo code bebre. But the defensive men of Newcastle and ya up to the task sir in the absence of Damben. So mo be Timmy ya say Jumano. In fin City be face problems kaka. Guimares, Sandro Tonali, and a Joe Linton. This is a midfielder. Almost every player is a hard tackler. If you know more for creativity, Bruno Guimares, Joe Linton or did that drive in the Newcastle Wobokono. Or also off the ball, and very hard on any opponent. Player back also a difference maker than Manchester City and Nico Gonzalez. Ken, he's in the form of his life this season for Manchester City. The last game they played against Liverpool, on a man Liverpool midfield, no sorry to say useless. Or control game with Manchester City. It dictated the pace. A set good tempo. Say my bobo the tackles, now you're perfect. The timing and everything. It's in games like this. I'll be here points, to build that kind of momentum and confidence. To play the subsequent matches, looking at baby Manchester City bobo the free banner there. I feel said they are in the right frame of mind to pick the 3 maximum points against Newcastle bobo kono. Kwakwa di kayaka. Eddie Howe as a coach has never won against Manchester City. In 18 matches. And Eddie Howe in Manchester City abo. Ewo Premier League anymore. While losing Makumaku 16, no draw just 2. 16 losses from 18 games to draw just 2. And me who and as an exception, Debbie. Me who is a tradition never to us. Manchester City is definitely going to win, possibly a 2-1 win for the Manchester City team. Liverpool say you're careful. Ken, Ocean Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Nyadie, a fact. But I dear Baku woman say, Nottingham Nyadie at the start of the season, coach a friend says Sean Dyke, and you're not an Sean Dyke buying in the Premier League about 3 matches. But 3 matches now are bonus social results now. The performance of the Nottingham Forest team is on the rise. In Kakanka performance in Ipeja. The first game will lose to Bournemouth. Bournemouth home. Ball at Bournemouth football. Former Semenyomu so lose to them again. Any news. Or Koni home no Koko Lucy. After that, Otenefie no ball Manchester United Bobo Kono. And we draw. It's after a loss in the first game in the Premier League for Nottingham Forest Bobo Kono. Wababa Benya a drawn game. An improved performance over the previous one. After Manchester United, Osansu Bolis United, and also when a 3-1. It's clearly, Osha from Lusono. Obenya draw, ababa benya win. Into the psyche and mentality of the players, Liverpool on the other hand, I do omo Obe expect some obe big, yes. Omo performance never cost you be yes. But unfortunately for Liverpool, the last 6 matches at Liverpool Bobo Kona Bo, English Premier League, they are off color. Omo Lucy Mako 5. The last 6 matches in the Premier League, Liverpool lose 5 and we winning just 1. After that win against Aston Villa, no chance of winning against Real Madrid. Now you feel some team in confidence, the performance never back. You be who Liverpool be. And a sign better toy against Manchester City. But teams like City no be to any news. Then so better if you're not Tottenham Forest Bobo Kuna Baba Beshaw. And no never a problem. But Liverpool team no absence be affected the Liverpool team. Florian Wirtz. Ebi oba Liverpool or more Bobe. But the last time I moved Florian Wirtz against Real Madrid Bobo Kono, all on the flanks, which is the left flank, Edman Liverpool Bobo Kono. The performance was good. He performed well. But the free one on the air banner says you're only available to me about game Liverpool Bobo Kono. The midfield, Conor Bradley ni honum, it's ABS, I saw this over slide by the right back. Oh, the neighbor honum when your problem. Because Nottingham Forest Bobo Kono. Midfield honum, they have players who have very good tacklers. Elliot Anderson born was through. Ibrahim Sangare, another combative midfielder. And so it's who you key players from the midfielder who created Tokro and the Atum Fin for one of the amount team and over find the problems. The Liverpool defense when it comes to goals, somebody consider and I'm defended here. And shall any problem be because I go use the striker for Nottingham for this season. No goal, no assist for matches. It will not be an but the mentality and mindset of the Nottingham Forest coach and in the team. Anyhow, I mean, Shondai team build a defensive setup. Liverpool here results, but Nottingham Forest here results.